Douglas MacArthur was born on January 26, 1880, in Little Rock, Arkansas. Raised by a decorated Civil War veteran, Arthur MacArthur Jr., and a fiercely determined mother, Pinky MacArthur, Douglas was steeped in military tradition from birth. Arthur MacArthur was awarded the Medal of Honor for his bravery, and young Douglas idolized his father's dedication to the military. Determined to follow in his father's footsteps, Douglas attended the United States Military Academy at West Point, where he graduated first in his class in 1903. World War I was MacArthur's baptism by fire. Serving as the Chief of Staff for the 42nd Rainbow Division, MacArthur led his men through some of the war's fiercest fighting. Refusing to stay behind the lines, he often joined his soldiers in battle, rallying them under relentless German fire. His daring leadership and disregard for personal safety were remarkable. By the end of the war, MacArthur had been promoted to Brigadier General and had earned 7 Silver Stars, the Distinguished Service Cross twice, and 2 Purple Hearts. After World War I, MacArthur took on a new challenge, preparing the Philippines for independence and creating their military infrastructure. He formed a deep connection with the Filipino people, embracing their culture and forging strong alliances. He was eventually named Field Marshal of the Philippine Army, the only American to hold that rank. As the U.S. military's presence in the Philippines grew, MacArthur realized that Japan's expansion in the Pacific was an imminent threat. When Japan attacked Pearl Harbor, MacArthur, still stationed in the Philippines, was unprepared for the Japanese onslaught that followed. Despite his experience and the resources at his disposal, the Japanese army overran the islands, and MacArthur was forced to retreat to the fortress of Corregidor. The brutal reality of defeat was a humbling blow to MacArthur. Under direct orders from President Roosevelt, MacArthur left the Philippines in 1942. Before departing, he made a bold promise to the Filipino people.
I shall return.
His escape through stormy seas was perilous, but MacArthur's resolve never wavered. Safe in Australia, he set about planning his return with a fervor that bordered on obsession. On October 20th, 1944, MacArthur waded ashore at Leyte, making good on his famous vow. The sight of him in his signature sunglasses and cap was a powerful symbol to the Filipino people. The liberation of the Philippines, however, came at a high cost. The battles were fierce, and countless soldiers on both sides lost their lives. With the Philippines free from Japanese occupation, MacArthur turned his focus to Japan itself. The war finally ended in 1945 with the atomic bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. In the aftermath, MacArthur was appointed Supreme Commander for the Allied powers in Japan, responsible for the occupation and rebuilding of a defeated nation. In 1950, when North Korea invaded South Korea, MacArthur was once again called to lead. Commanding the United Nations forces, he executed a daring amphibious assault at Incheon, a maneuver that turned the tide of the war. But his ambition was greater than mere containment. MacArthur pushed for a more aggressive approach, calling for attacks on Chinese forces and even suggesting nuclear weapons. His bold stance brought him into direct conflict with President Harry Truman, who preferred a more cautious approach. In 1951, MacArthur was relieved of his command, a decision that shocked the American public. MacArthur returned to the U.S. as a controversial hero, where he gave a famous farewell address to Congress. After retiring from the military, MacArthur settled into a quieter life, reflecting on his decades of service and the triumphs and failures that defined him. He remained a vocal advocate for strong national defense, and his patriotism never wavered. Douglas MacArthur died on April 5, 1964, leaving behind a complex and towering legacy.